Hello, it's Tracy. I had a request from Coach Julie to talk to you today about the challenge of people not returning your calls. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about that. And the first thing I want to say is don't take it personal. We're in sales, and that is going to be an issue that everyone in sales deals with. And for some reason, and I'm included in the past, I don't take it personal today, but I remember when I used to, we can take that as personal rejection. So, number one, when people are not returning your calls, it has nothing to do with you. They're busy, they've lost interest in the topic at hand. Maybe they've already made a move. We don't know why they're not returning our calls, but it's not our job to try to figure that out. We just need to keep moving forward. So, I want to give you a couple ideas. One of the simplest is change your call time. Every one of us has what I call a prime calling time. Unfortunately, what I've seen in our world of senior housing is that people are calling their prospects during the week, during their business hours. Unfortunately, there's not enough phone calls happening. So it's like an afterthought. Once I get all my paperwork done, I'm done with my meeting, I'm done with my tours, I'll make a few calls. Calling must become a priority. So to solve this problem of people not calling you back, one of the first things you have to realize is that, they might not have been there when you called. They received your message. They might have thought, I wish I would have been here when she called, but they're not going to go out of their way to call you back. However, if you catch them, they'll be happy to talk to you. How many times has that happened to you? Where you wanted something, but you just didn't want to get off your duff to call the person back, but when they actually did reach you, you were kind of glad you answered and you bought from them. Well, it's the same thing with your families that you're working with. And you have to remember, people are working full-time jobs. Women are doing most of the caregiving, so not only they're working their jobs, taking care of their family, they might be doing some of this caregiving for mom or dad. If it's independent living, they might be dealing with just the fear of what am I doing, and maybe it's a sign that they weren't there. Maybe I wasn't really supposed to call, because they're looking for any way to get out of this. So here's what I want you to do. Number one, establish a habit this month, a routine of making your calls at the same time every day. Now, we're going to experiment with this, and I'd like for you to call at starting, say, let's say you come into the office, you do your paperwork, and you do calls from 9:30 to 10:30. What I'm looking for is for you to identify when I made these calls, how many people actually answered, because we need to identify for you your prime calling time. You want to call when people are home. And I know that sounds very basic, and it is, but people don't do it. They leave messages all day long. You cannot sell to an answering machine. Ideally, when you should be calling, from my experience in our company of doing lost lead surveys with your market demographics, is you should be calling at night and on the weekends. I realize you have families and that's difficult, but what if one day a week you came in later in the day and you stayed later at night, just till 7 o'clock, and you made calls from 5:30 to 7, once or twice a week? Or what if you took Monday off and worked Tuesday through Saturday, and you made a lot of those calls on Saturdays? You are actually going to reach a lot more people. And simply by changing your call time, you're going to work smarter, not harder. You're going to reach more people. I'm telling you this, and some of you are thinking, this makes sense, but you're not going to be willing to modify your schedule and create this new habit. And you're going to continue to deal with people not calling you back. I don't care how great your message is. Odds are, if they're not returning your calls, they really probably just don't see the value in what it is you're calling about. But if you reach them and talk to them, engage them in meaningful conversation, you're going to have a much better chance of getting them engaged and talking to you. Do you get my point? So change your time. Experiment all week, this week and next week and the following week. For about 3 weeks, I want you to play with different call times. Morning, afternoon, early evening, weekends, and I want you to stand out to you like a sore thumb. You'll notice when you find your prime calling time that you're going to reach 50% or more of the people you're calling, which, as you know, means you're going to book some appointments. And you want to set a goal for how many appointments you want to schedule every week. And guys, we need to be doing minimally 75 outbound sales calls every week, ideally 100. Think about this. You're in sales. You should be making at least 20 outbound sales calls a day, follow-up calls. So that would take you about an hour. If you were calling during your prime calling time, not only would that time be utilized, you would book the appointments you need to fill your calendar for the next week if you actually stuck to this system. Again, success in sales is about having systems in place. The problem is probably that it's not that no one's calling you back, it's that you're leaving tons of messages. People are busy, they might want to call you back, but then they forget and they get busy and you're at a dead end. Change your call time. Create structure. Once you find that call time, you put that in your calendar like it's an appointment on the designated days you're calling. And you do not put anything else in place of that slot. If someone wants to do a tour, they can do it after your call time or before. And trust me, they don't care. They know you have appointments. They'll come before or after. You have to decide that this is a priority. And trust me, you give it 30 days of making 100 outbound sales calls a week during your prime calling time, you're going to be so busy, you're not with move-ins, you're not going to be able to see straight. Guaranteed. Go to my fan book page on Facebook, which you can get off my website. In 30 days from today, document, Tracy, today I'm starting this call time thing that you told me about. I'm going to come back in 30 days and I'm going to let you know how it's going. Guaranteed, it's going to be a whole new day in your community for move-ins from something as simple as changing your call time. So make prime calling times a part of your systematic approach to the sales process. Thank you.